Alright. Another day, another InkTober sketch. Well, I'm consistent with my streaming, but I'm not the only one that is consistent. That internet gang is also consistent over at Kick. Still pushing them bot. Well, I suppose respect the hustle, question mark? This one might be fairly simple. All right. Because the reference of today's reference is fairly, well, simple. So, the big question is, what should we talk about today, chat? Well, the thing that sort of immediately comes to mind is that a few days ago, as you might remember, I cleaned my curtains. I have double windows and double windows in my so-called office. And one of the curtains is, I hung it up backwards. And every time I look up at it, it annoys me. So, I think it's annoyed me long enough, chat. No more. This ends today. Okay, I think, look. It's not necessarily that high though. Or is it? No, it's not much lower. Much more squish like so. Just not even that. Look at that. Bit like kinda, but also a bit like that. So yeah, I need to end the reign of the annoying curtains. And I really should find out why to this day I continue to cough. especially when I'm talking, because like otherwise when I'm in this room, the cough, there's no coughing. It's purely or mainly when I'm talking. Alright, maybe this is an indication I should shut up and just let the music play and let the music stand for the entertainment. That's also an option. Lots of options, chat. Lots of options. Lots of options. And when Inktober is over, I kinda curious and would like to do a little experiment. This is a weird shape, now that I look at it. But, alright, so the experiment I would like to run is just do figure drawing, right? But just do it on Sundays, and we're just gonna call them Sexy Sundays. Because I, over the years, have built up a bit of a collection of pictures, illustrations of very excuse me, attractive ladies. We use them. We use the power of horny to attract the audience. I'm not sure if that would work, but it would be funny to see. We kind of like it would be low. It would be low. I'm not sure if it would be funny or just sad if that worked out. Right. It's just the good old fashioned booth babe advertisement trick. We go like, ooh, oh, this is lame. Nothing's happening in art. We go like, oh my god, look at that. That is this. Have to keep it, family friendly and all of that. Can't keep it. Can't draw anything too explicit, but you can keep it classy and tasteful. The source material I'm thinking of is like there was, or I suppose it still is operational. This site called Pinup Files, which is kind of just what it says on the tin. It's just pictures of scantily dressed ladies doing pinup poses. And I'm like, that's kind of valid. Not gonna lie. Right, and then I think I probably should do some of the highlights on this sucker too. Right, so we have like a highlight here, thereabouts. Right on. Right size 2. Cool. And then we have a highlight which a little bit longer. Yeah, well, we're gonna be erasing you. So don't you worry about a thing. And I think that it close enough, and then we'll just maybe it's more like that. Yeah, well, it's just really... Nope. Something like that. To extend this. Right. And I kind of like, it's a bit weird that I kind of go like obsessed with it. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to put down a blob and then I'm going to sculpt it. It's like, oh yeah, I could just put down a blob and then I'm going to sculpt it into something nice later. But another thing that we can talk about, chat, segueing into stylishly from one subject matter to another, as you do. Like yesterday, I was talking about like how to use like I was having this wacky dream or aspiration to use Worlds Without Numbers and our tabletop RPG as a foundation for essentially. Furry Isekai edition. Because the system itself, it's like it's already pre-made into has a lot of the balancing issues that you wouldn't normally not run into when it comes to isekai. But because the system in most isekai stories exists only there to prop up the protagonists. They just want the protagonist to break the system, right? I can cast a level 99 spell even though the greatest of the great sages could only cast level 9 spells. Well, I can cast level 99 spells, no problem. So, how? And one way to remedy this is to go like, well, yeah, you just base it on, why is this going to be so hard to draw that? Something like that? It's a little bit too low, but you know what? Screw it. I'll allow it. The thing that I like a lot about Worlds Without Numbers, even though I haven't really played it that much, or even watched like long plays of it, is that you are allowed to. The system allows you to generate actions. So, nice. It allows you to create factions. And the factions can then be... And every once in a while, I think I might have covered this one, but every once in a while, the game master, after an X number of sessions, the game master will roll to see what the different factions do, and the factions have their motivations. Excuse me. The goals, they have goals, they have agendas. The whole 9 yards. And because of player actions, a faction may gain or lose strength, which will increase or decrease their chances of achieving their goal, whatever that goal may be. So, the question then becomes, how are we... The question then becomes, how are we going to... And so you might have... Basically, yeah, you may have end up with, like, the... Merchant Guild would go like, because you didn't help the Merchant Guild are now incredibly much stronger because you helped take out all of the bandits. But since you didn't assist, but since you are not assisting the church is now struggling against the Dragon Blood cult or whatever. So it allows you to creates this, at least my impression of it, a living, breathing world that operates partially independently of what the players are doing, but also but it's also related to it, or in relation to it, or in response to it. When you help the Merchant Guild, therefore the Merchant Guild will now be therefore the Merchant Guild will not be you help the Merchant Guild, therefore the Merchant Guild will be stronger, or you didn't help them, and therefore the Merchant Guild is weaker. No, I'm gonna pass on writing. That's why they're so white, so yeah. Again, it's one of those things that, like, it's simple, but I suppose we could just do this whole thing. Right? This is black, black shadow. Another thing that I kind of noticed, or I did something that I did earlier. Well, actually, we could. Like, it seems like we could just do. It's not quite according to the reference, but we could just do a little bit like that, which gives it. Like, there's a light coming off from the side, catches there, cast, and then there's a cat. Therefore, there is a cast shadow. Right. Not quite according to the reference, but there you go. But it also looked like an evil demon helmet or something. I don't know. Like, is there anything, like, it's just, again, polish and refinement, really. So. This is where I would ask for second opinions in chat, but all I have is people pushing bots to me, so. Curse of the lonely streamer. Never mind, though. It's all good, chat. It's all good. Pardon me. Now, the thing that I'm kind of worried about well, I'm not exactly worried about it, really. I'm not even sure what I was worried about. I just completely lost that train of thought. Funny how that happens, chat. But yeah. It's tough when you just have two values. I mean, we could. A little experiment that I did earlier today. I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember his name. But I did stumble over yet another art tutorial on YouTube. And it was very interesting to see just how he went about the making fur. Well, since this is more or less done, I suppose I could just demonstrate. I'm just gonna lock it so I don't screw it up. Basically, since we're talking about, you know, our protagonist should be or our furry isekai should be a tiger, so I guess it also is only fitting that we can. Right, so we're just gonna use that. And right. We can go do a little bit. Right, and let's say we just do a little bit of a shadow here. Right, so I found, you know, how this Blender textured soft brush, right? And basically, to create like fur, you just do this. It might be a little bit too rough around the edges, but yeah. Right. See that, chat? And boom, there you go. Instant fur. I suppose you could go like even layer it even more. Oh, like if you just go like, yeah, I want to smudge here and a larger spot. I guess this comes into like the shape design. That you kind of come into, but I guess you would do. Stuff like that. To sort of like show that, oh yeah, it's fur, but like it has like this cast shadow thing going on. Excuse me. That's the principle. That's the principle, chat. And you know, if you can do it on a sphere, you can do it on pretty much anything. Because yeah. Or a fox or a bear or whatever. It kind of looked like, oh my goodness, like look at all that meticulous rendering. Oh, this would have taken you freaking hours to do that. And they're like, no, not really. I kind of just blocked in the overall general, you know, where I want my whites, where I want my, what's that, orange brown. And then I just went over the edges with my blender brush, right? Went over it with a little bit different. Never mind what you can. What you might be able to pull off with, and this is just like the default. The only thing that I'm doing is just making it bigger or smaller. But yeah, it's one of those things that you can like really go like, oh yeah, I kind of grow to appreciate the. Stuff like that to sort of like quickly and easily demystifies a lot of the art. Go like, that's not that difficult. It's not difficult to wrap your head. It might not be difficult to wrap your head around the principle, but like it's sort of then taking that principle and applying it to something more complex and still making it looking good. You might still have to, of course, do the thing, apply the principle over and over and over again, a few dozen times or a few hundred times before, like at least a few dozen times for it to sort of stick, and then several hundred times before you publish and refine it until it makes it look really, really good. But yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, like I'm a little bit on the fence on this one. Like there are the specular highlights and like they're definitely there, but I kind of like oh, let's do the squint test, right? But even if I squint from a distance, they do show up in the reference though. But it also kind of looks like it doesn't look very clean. I suppose we could just stop hiding and continue to, you know, polish, I suppose. Yeah, because like it's rounded, right? something because it goes on like that, right? Like, part of the reason why I want to stop like nudging things around is not just because like, oh yeah, it's you know, that it's bad or anything, but also because like I have a long history of perfectionism. Like, everything must be freaking perfect. Gotta chase after every single pixel. And in an effort to strangle that, I can like leave this hour-long studies. Rough. And a certain lack of polish. Because you can definitely, you know, make. I can make use of temp layers. I'm gonna like fill and do stuff like this and just go like pre-made shapes and temp layers and the whole 9 yards, but to get very clean shapes and edges and all of that, but which is fine and valid, but it's more getting more and more used to the basic round brush. Yeah. But I suppose once you sort of master this, like you can make legit comics out of this, or even just straight up manga for that matter. I think I mentioned this. Yeah, I might have mentioned that, but there's some mangas that I read fairly recently that like, yeah, there's a lot of black ink here, and I go like, they're using they're using it, you know, the shapes of the black shapes, shape design, shape language to describe the form. In the video by Jarvis, is it Can Draw or is it just Jarvis Draws? Am I even subscribed to him? Lightning Mentor. I'm curious. Hang on, let me. Yeah, it's Jarvis Can. Yeah, Jarvis Can Draw. The most underrated drawing exercise of all time. Simple Inkscape tutorial. Wow. Oh, this is watch that one after the stream. I'm not gonna fall down a human rabbit hole while live on stream. Like, holy crap. I suppose there are some content creators who do that, but I'm not there yet. But yeah, heavy. And next prompt for the Inktober 2025 is sweep. Oh yeah, that one should be... That one should be quite interesting, the reference I picked up there. A bit more like the same ones of Reckless, which was yesterday's guy on a motorcycle. That was fun. This one, not so much. I guess I suppose we could just go in here and just, you know, just do divide it up a bit. To better sort of maybe that just adds more noise to it, I don't know. This one also kind of looks like it's just a bit of a dent there, so we could do something like that. And just add some very, very small, like, visual interests to it. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it makes things look uneven. And I suppose, technically speaking, this one should fade into something, but yeah. I wonder. Okay, can we? Does that actually? Would that actually? I think that. Oh yeah, that improves. That describes the form so much more. And technically speaking, I suppose it does. That describes the form so much better. There we go. Looks better. Even though, technically speaking, I don't think that these meet perfectly, but And now this thing is bothering me. Better. One long, continuous, confident line. Drawbox. Alright, I had a rant about Drawbox. Talking to myself. Because I didn't want to talk about it on stream, apparently, but... Or... We'll say we're just prepping it in my head. But... Don't touch that dial, chat. We can talk about Drawbox tomorrow. Because guess what? Guess what, chat? Time is almost up. Yeah. Not the best, admittedly. Right, it might be a little bit okay. Like this, it isn't nearly as thick. It's even like, yeah. That might be a bit too harsh on it. Let's do that. Actually, it kind of just does cut into rather sharp that corner. A dumbbell weight as a representation of something heavy. What a fascinating prompt. Actually, I haven't really noticed that, but there is this angled line here. No idea what it is though, but yeah. Fascinating. Yeah. Might not necessarily be the most exciting streams, but you know what? Don't necessarily care too much. Not everything needs to be high octane, super entertaining chat. Sometimes you just want to listen to some chill music and unwind. The world is more enough off the hinges all as it is. So how about going not off the hinges, but hooking back on the hinges? Relax and unwind. Yeah. Well, it's getting there. We are getting there, chat, which is the important part. But maybe I should do a portrait tomorrow. Not necessarily on stream, but it's been a while since I've done it. It's been a while since I've done that, chat. Been a while since I did that. That was part of my plan for 2025. 2025 was supposed to be the big figure drawing year, but I kind of fell off down a rabbit hole called Whale's Art Castle. This is our YouTuber Whale who did lots of fascinating, had some spicy hot takes on figure drawing and had proof that this was working because I made explosive progress in just 6 months, and all he did was gesture drawing, or not just but he did an hour of gesture drawing every single day for 6 months. But he also did anatomy studies and portrait studies and so on and so forth. But yeah, he did a lot of explosive growth. Tried to do that. Tried to follow the suit, but I ended up hurting my wrist instead, so yeah, that was not good. But I had to take a 2-week break not doing anything. And I don't think that I fully 110% recovered, which is kind of why I still try to take it a little bit easy. I think the main reason why I freaked out with gestures is because the time limit. The time limit stresses me out, and because I'm stressed out, I get a death grip on my stylus, and that's not good when you do that for an hour a day, more or less every day, for I don't know how long I stuck with it. 80 days or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that. Because the original idea was just take Michael Hampton's figure. What was that called? He had a course on Proco. Where was it? Proco.com. Not head drawing construction. Login. Introduction to figure construction, right? Because a lot of people swear by his his approach to figure drawing construction. And I looked at some of his videos on YouTube, and I go like, it's very good because the way that it's not so modular. Well, it is modular, but it is stages. But the stages sort of kind of like you see much more of the entire process, far more than you did with Proco. So the idea was to go like, all right, if I can do the same thing I did, follow that the same way that I did with portrait drawing, which I had a pretty decent success with in 24. So I go like, I made a lot of progress, learned a lot, and go like, okay, cool, internalized the first 3 stages of the process of the portrait drawing process, and I was happy with the results. So I go like, all right, but the biggest takeaway is like, now I have a training method, a practice method that makes sense to me, which is stacking theories, which wasn't a foreign concept to me, but yeah, basically I practiced one step. Usually a drawing is a multi-step process, and I would practice the first step a few times, and then I would add a second, and then I would add the second step to the first step. So I would practice step 1 and 2 for a certain period of time, and then I would go and add the third step for a little while, for a certain amount of reps, for a small amount of reps, and then I would move on to the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and so on and so forth until I was, it helped me focus on the process and go like how the different things tie together, and it also helped me show up, because they're like, you get a sense of progression, right? Because I go like, all right, I just need to do this. I just need to do step 3 times, or 6 times rather, and then I move on. It's not that I'm done with step 3, but I'm gonna add something new on it. It's a bit of like a video game kind of thing. You get something new, even though you're rehashing a lot of the fundamental techniques, reloading your weapon, jumping, double jumping, running, jumping, and so on and so forth, shifting between weapons, like the fundamental mechanics might be the same, but you're using them in quote-unquote new contexts every once in a while, or very frequently. Like, oh, now we're in a cave, now we're in the jungle, but you're still reloading your weapon. So, but it still feels new and fresh. You're reloading your weapon in a jungle, even though it's... Right, you're doing a running jump over a lava river as opposed to river, and you're doing a sprint in the snow as opposed to on the sand. But, you know, that's how you get people hooked on Tomb Raider, yes. But yeah, like, that was kind of the logic behind it. And like, that made sense in my video game indoctrinated brain, basically. So, yeah. Oh. Where is it? There it is. Yeah. Botleva.com, really? Really, chat? Well, gotta respect the gotta respect the hustle, I suppose. Wait, do I? Wait, what? Post anyway. There we go. There we go. Now we post it on social media for the world to see. And I think we will call it pretty much here, chat. Which means see you again tomorrow. Pretty much the same time. But it will be earlier on Saturday because board gaming night with the guys. For a change, I'm the one bringing the game. Good old Hero Quest. But see you tomorrow then. Bye bye.